Judgers the Hits, March 2015 edition. It was a good month.
Very good month.
Very, very good month.
Yeah. Lots of comics came out, and we are here to talk about some of our favorite first issues. These are gateways into what definitely tricked us into sticking with it and buying way too many. Every single week, way too many.
All Image's fault. It's Image Comics' fault.
I blame them too. So as I was mentioning, this is part one. We're going to talk about some of our favorite first issues that came out this month. And part two, the next video, is going to be about our top 2 comics overall of March. There'll be a runner-up, and we are just going to sit and gush about how much we loved one comic specifically from March. So to kick it off, we are going to quickly talk about some first issues that we think deserve a little attention, and then we've all picked collectively, as a group, like adults,
yes,
our very favorite first issue from March 2015. It was a struggle, there was a knife fight.
Adults is questionable.
Adults is questionable, yeah, we turned into little kids.
Some crying.
I guess I'll get started. The first issue that I chose to quickly mention is Pastaways, a Dark Horse comic by Matt Kent and art by Scott Collins. It is about a group of time travelers from the future that arrives at our current time and gets stuck here. And they've been stuck here for a whole year, and they've kind of spread out, living their own lives, stuck in this time that seems so backwards, and they don't have the same technology that they're used to. And something happens in this first issue that allows them to consider the fact that they have a chance to go home. And the leader of the group kind of tries and wrangles them all up, and from there, in future issues, we should see them trying to get back home. It's a funny comic. They make a lot of fish out of water jokes, and yeah, it's just lighthearted and a good read.
Is it like Gilligan's Island?
If they were just in society,
times,
yeah. If they were just like among people instead of stuck
people
on
around,
their own island, yeah. I love Matt Kent. I think he might be one of my
Matt
favorite
Kent's
writers. So
awesome.
yeah, that's my I guess honorable mention. First issue of the month.
Mine is Neverboy. It's by Sean Simon and Tyler Jenkins. There's a lot of questions in this first issue. It's about an imaginary friend who's companions with a little boy. They lose connection for whatever reason, and the imaginary friend starts taking drugs in order to remain in the real world. And apparently that is not allowed, and he is being sort of forced out of it by the end of the issue. I thought the art was really cool. There's lots of really nice colors, and
The imaginary world is forcing him to quit, or whatever.
the imaginary world is sort of taking him back.
Yeah.
His time is up.
Inspired.
He cannot be in the real world anymore. And I'm excited to see where it goes. It's a limited run, so I'll inevitably be disappointed and hate the entire series. Hopefully not.
I had a tough choice on mine. I was fighting between The Surface by El Scott. It's I like where he's going. It's really deep, a little philosophical. Some real ties into the history of the brain and psychology. I like it. These guys don't like it. I like it.
I like it, and I like El Scott.
It's just convoluted.
It sounds like some dorm room philosophy. It doesn't sound like real philosophy to me. That's just, yeah. I like El Scott.
I love El Scott.
Yeah.
Miss my dorm room, so whatever. Frankenstein was the winner. Look at the shirt, figure it out. Mike Mignola does true justice to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein here. Frankenstein finds himself in Mexico, stumbles across an old woman. There's temples, there's gods, there's all that stuff that you love Mignola to do. Good art, Ben Stenbeck, Baltimore. You know him from Baltimore. Other Dark Horse projects. It's just fantastic. There's a blip where Hellboy is. There's a history of Hellboy. He actually went on Hellboy's drunken rant in Mexico, which is a House of the Living Dead tie-in.
I knew that. too.
Yeah, right. Hellboy's boxing with Frankenstein. So there's a couple other tie-ins here. You don't need to know the tie-ins. You don't need to know the history. But it's just a great kind of monster story, which you would expect. And who's better at monsters than the creator of Hellboy?
And now on to our collective favorite, the one we chose. We thought it was the most interesting. Is Invisible Republic from Image, written by Gabriel Hardman and his wife Karina Becko. It is, just to give a quick summary of it, it is the story of an investigative reporter, Kroger Babb, who travels to this far-off moon called Avalon. It is in dire straits. The economy's collapsed. Everyone is, just having a hard time in their everyday existence. And he is looking for stories just about everyday life. He stumbles upon this manuscript by a woman named Maya Reverend, and he quickly finds out that she is the cousin of the former dictator of the moon, named Arthur McBride, and it's telling the story of their life before he comes to power. And Kroger believes this is potentially a different look at the man who ran Avalon, who was the dictator of Avalon for years. And that's kind of where we end in the first issue. So what do you guys think about it?
I thought it was fantastic. That's why it's our favorite first.
Yes.
I like the dystopic
That's why we
nature
practiced.
of it all. As I was saying before to you guys with the art, the grays, the blue, it's kind of a dirty blue. And some people have drawn parallels to Blade Runner, and I think they're really capturing that type of dystopic.
It's dirty, but it's also got.
Yeah.
It's dirty, but it has these focal points where like it is very. It wants you to notice things. It's not like. I see this a lot in video games too, where everything is just mud colored, and it's just there's nothing, no differentiation between anything. This definitely has highlights, lowlights, the whole spectrum, even though it is in this sort of sepia tone.
Yeah.
And in the comic you get two time periods. One is clearly shaded a different way. Avalon's at a point where it's vastly populated and it's very much a city. In the previous time period it's very much they're out on the beach and it's brighter, it's more lively, I guess. This is what I like most about the first issue is I see this story as a profile of a guy who comes to power from nothing. And there are countless stories about this historically in real life of people coming from nothing, a person of the people, gaining power. He's respected because he is a man of the people, but he's not cracked up to be exactly what everyone thinks he is. And that's how I see this story, is like, we think of this guy one way, but really he's another. And I feel like that's the most exciting thing, is we don't even have this guy's perspective, but we're getting it through his common held belief of the people, how he is seen, and then you get the second telling of his life, and someone who's close to him and has known his whole life. It's exciting, and it has lots of good political ties to it that excite me.
We do learn, at the time of writing the manuscript, they have lost people. This is not like the beginning of their desperate times. This is like in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And she sticks by him, which is very telling of him too. Like getting followers, all that sort of thing. Because we don't know his decisions in this.
He seems like a crazy person.
He goes nuts on some authority, and she sticks by him, but she does not seem as into it as he does.
Right. Well, he's ready. He's down to kill, and she's not so down to kill.
Yeah, and I think that's telling of the leader too. Is he's just I got to take the bull by the horns. These people got to die, and she's not as sure about it. I thought it was super interesting. And the fact that it's being told sort of from the future. She says she wrote this and it happened 40 years ago in the manuscript. We're not quite sure of the time frame.
No. Political figures have a veil in front of them. They're only providing information that is helpful to them. So we get this secondary account of who this person is and what he does. And I'm excited to see the contrast between that and how people respond to it. These people that Bab is running into who are apathetic and kind of down on.
Yeah, nobody wants to talk about it at all.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
It was a really good first issue. It was probably the most promising first issue. I don't know.
I
liked a lot of the other ones. Maybe I may have liked the other ones more, but I think it's the most promising of the first issues that I read this month, and it's definitely the one that's gotten a lot more buzz too. So I don't know.
Also, I think dictator has a very negative connotation to it.
I was just thinking the same thing.
So maybe he
It's got
overthrows. Yeah, maybe he overthrows the current government and is assassinated, and he's like a freedom fighter. We have no idea about anything about this person.
You're right.
It could go either way, or he could be like a horrible tyrant
Yeah.
that just takes what he can.
We don't know if he's beloved or he's feared or anything really. Other than, we're trying to piece all this together. It's obviously got a lot of backstory to it. There's a lot of history to this moon and to where it, like how it has gotten to the point where it is. So yeah, it's the main character kind of is this dictator kind of, but we're not even like privy to his point of view. You know, we're kind of coming at it from a couple different viewpoints, and that's kind of exciting. Yeah.
What did you guys think of that essay in the back? Did you read it? Did you read it?
I did not read it.
I can't.
I read the letters pages, but
Yeah, I read the letters pages, but I skipped the essay.
It was pretty cool.
What does it say?
It was
Be
about
thrown under the bus too.
Genghis Khan. How Genghis Khan had built his empire. There were multiple Mongol queens in the family, so women were actually helping rule that empire. And
Oh yeah, I did read it. Never mind.
Just me.
That's a good point though, because I think
Right.
it's going to be like a feminist look at this. Like
Right.
Maya is forgotten.
Yep.
But I guess she will be an important person.
Yeah,
in
she's
this.
definitely going to end up being an important person, I bet.
I think she is the Mallory regime.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You heard it here first.
So that ends our part one of the hits for March. Next part will be our favorite comics of the month. We're all going to get one comic that we thought was the cream of the crop, and then we'll throw in a couple more just to round out the month. Thanks for watching. This is CoverageJudger.com's The Hits.
Cheers.
Part two. What he said.
Bless you.
Oh my gosh.